two guys are going to talk?
Well, I'll probably have these two because they're the most knowledgeable.
Yeah, whoever you want to rotate.
Yep.
All right. I'll listen to him. And
Bob and I have got a lot of years between us.
Bob and
That's
Tom.
great.
Bob and Eric.
Bob and Eric.
All right. So,
Oh,
What do we need to
you, me? Like now? Oh. We need another chair.
We are talking to you live from Branson, Missouri.
At Stockstill Park.
It's Eric Miklich and Bob Thoklis be providing the play-by-play for this 1860 19th century match.
Between two teams attending the Vintage Baseball Association convention in Branson. We have two picked nines. One which has called itself the Gloms, short for conglomeration, and the other named after its estimable captain, Doug Ernst of the Quick Step Baseball Club of Minnesota.
And the Ernst will be batting first in this 1860 match.
And the first pitch is about to be tossed. And a large swing, a generous swing, and even more generous miss by the first batter.
The distance from the front quote to home base is 45 feet. Pitching was done underhanded with the arm perpendicular, swinging from the shoulder to the ground as you witnessing. Depending on the style of pitching, you could have a more gentle approach, as Scooter is showing here, or you could have a pitch more on the line.
And there is a fly ball into center field, which evades the center fielder. The runner is now approaching second base and likely will stop there.
Had the center fielder caught that ball on the first bound, the batter would in fact be out. Any fair batted ball caught on the fly or the first bound puts the batter out. The advantage of catching the ball on the fly, Bob, is of course that the runners would have to hold their base until the ball is momentarily held, and then they could advance.
If there are any runners. The next batter is Captain Ernst. And he steps delicately back away from an inside pitch and awaits the next one. And he hits a number out in front of the plate and is off toward first base and will be safe. And here comes the runner home, and he is safe also. Ernst now is running toward second base, taking his cap off to avoid losing it.
Now,
and is in safe at second base.
The batter, let's say, gently hit that ball in front of home base. In this era, where the ball first strikes the ground, deems it fair or foul. So the ball could hit, in fact, inside the lines.
The next batter hits a fly into right center field, which is falling safely. Ernst is rounding third and will make home base. And the batter pulls in at second.
So getting back to what I was...
We tell you who the rest of the batters are, but we don't have a lineup.
Right. Now, what I was saying earlier was that if that ball hits in fair and goes foul, it is a fair ball. It's where the ball first strikes the ground determines fair or foul, not as today's rules, which would be has to make first or third base.
And there is a that was a foul ball, but the umpire didn't call it. And the batter makes it safely to first base as the catcher slips on wet ground coming out from behind the plate.
As did the pitcher and the batter.
As did the pitcher and the batter. And we now have runners on first and third. There's still nobody out. And a gentleman in a mustache and a blue cap is out at the plate waving the bat around. A discussion is, there's a discussion at home plate area.
Runner.
And I see. The next batter, the batter has been replaced. Apparently he was out of order.
There are no batter's boxes as there are today.
And the runner on first did a stylish butt first slide into second base, stealing it successfully.
And in 1860, there are no batter's boxes. There was, in fact, a striker's line.
And there is a pop-up to the infield, which is caught by the pitcher on one hop, which means
the one hand down.
One hand out, or as it's occasionally called, dead. Still runners on second and third bases. That lucky striker, he hit a little foul tick, but the catcher couldn't field it. If he had been able to catch it on the fly or on one bound, the batter would have been out.
The batters, although not drawn on the field today, would stand on or behind a 3-foot line going through home base, extending on either side of the base. That ball is long and foul and foul.
The batter hits a long foul down the left field line, and so we'll return to the bat to try again.
Now, once this pitcher has this ball, any runner is free to take off. So now the play would begin.
The batter tomahawks a fly into shortstop, which is caught on the fly for the second out. And the runner on third comes home on the play.
There are 2 hands down, 2 runs in. That would be a fair pitch.
Looked too high to me. A pitch around the shoulders. And next batter grounds out to shortstop, but the throw to first gets by the first baseman. 1 runner scores. The batter held up at first base.
That was a fine play by the shortstop coming across, fielding that with no glove and
handling it cleanly, but the throw bounced to the first baseman who couldn't stop it.
Had plenty of time to make a play, instead rushed it. But it is not easy to do what he just did, to come across there and catch that without bobbling it. That is a fair pitch as well.
And a fair pitch you define as?
A hittable ball.
What do you mean by hittable?
Here we go. We're not going to get into that here.
That's because there is some controversy about what constituted a good pitch that the striker was supposed to swing at.
Yes.
Not that there was any penalty. And there's a pitch up around the shoulders that the striker missed cleanly. The runner took off for second base and stole it without opposition. And this time he whacks a line drive, caught over his head by the shortstop, retiring the side with 3 runs scored for the Ernsts.
And that's technically 1 innings of play.
One innings not yet, because only 1 team has batted. But each team's turn at bat is called an inning at this time. Later it became a half inning.
The dimensions of the bases are as they are today, 90 feet all the way around. That was instituted at the 1857 convention. That was standardized, as was the pitching distance.
45 feet.
Yes. So the baseball that's played today, the base distances are based on 1857's convention. That's quite some time to use the same rules. Beginnings of baseball in Brooklyn, in New York, where the New York game was formulated from the Knickerbocker rules and expanded and massaged from there to get to what we have today as we see on TV and as the kids play in little leagues around the country.
Baseball players being competitive, the original set of 20 or so rules quickly became insufficient as various unfair plays had to be regulated. So now we have a rule book about 2-3 inches wide.
And the umpires don't even know all those rules.
And
today.
the umpires don't know all the not to mention the managers and players. Here's the first batter for the conglomeration.
Pitcher for the Ernst is BB. Fine
and
offer.
he swings at a ball much too high, and it goes foul and beyond the reach of the third base person. That is not a strike, since foul balls did not count as strikes at this point, only clean misses.
And technically, based on the rules, it wasn't until 1887 that an umpire had the option of calling a foul ball a strike.
As a ground ball to the shortstop, who picks it up cleanly.
Good play. Oh.
And the first baseman blocks it, but does not hold on to it. So we have a runner on first base.
Another fine play by a shortstop. Picked it cleanly in this wet and bumpy infield. That's a fair ball.
And a fair ball, which then goes foul, which counts at this point. Oh, the batter has taken off for first base and makes it safely, and the runner on first advances to second.
Not until 1877 did the ball have to pass first or third to be considered a fair ball.
The next batter ignores the first pitch, which bounced before the plate. This batter has a very open stance. And launches a fly ball into center field, which the center fielder.
Oh boy.
The center fielder let it go, intending it to catch it on one bounce, but it didn't bounce. So he couldn't catch it.
The advantage, he was there, and the advantage of catching it on the fly would be that these runners would have to then tag up as we deem today.
And the batter would be out.
And the batter, that was a terrible misplay. It was an easy fly ball, lazy fly ball.
He apparently didn't have the confidence to catch it.
Must have been a Putnam at one time.
And next batter takes a wild swing and misses the thing entirely. And having learned his lesson, he lets the next one go by.
Another fine pitch.
And it's way too far outside, though. And a foul tick is caught on one bounce by the catcher, which means that the striker is retired.
The umpire was empowered to call strikes in 1860, not balls, but strikes.
However, they did not do it.
They didn't do it too often. That's
and
true.
The reason is another source of controversy. It may have been simply that without a penalty for bad pitches, the players of the time who made up the umpiring corps didn't feel it fair. There's other reasons have been advanced. And there's a pop-up into left field.
That's going to be a base hit for sure.
And that is not caught on the first bounce either. One run comes in. Runner advances to third. Another runner on second, and the batter's on first base.
I would say the left fielder approached that ball as if he was on his way to his own bris. What would you say, Bob?
His own what?
Bris.
What's a bris?
Oh, boy.
And Mr. Sjogren of the Stillwaters drives a fair foul down the third baseline.
And here come the runners. 2
runs have scored. And the runner on first advanced to second. And the clever Mr. Sjogren is standing halfway to first and still second in case something happens. But nothing did. The first baseman is not playing on the base, so he has no reason to stand on the base himself.
That is a mistake.
And the runner on second steals third with no problem, and Mr. Sjogren is on his way to second with a delayed steal, which means that the runner on third took off for home, and he scores also. Which means that Conglomeration has 4 runs this inning.
That's it.
A two-hopper to the shortstop. It gets through his wickets. And the runners move up. Runner on second moves up to third, and we have another runner on first.
They've almost batted around this inning. You might notice the umpire is dressed in a different uniform. He has a fair ball.
And there's a ball down to first base. Pitcher fields it, throws to first. The first baseman drops it, but picks it up and tags the runner. And Mr. Sjogren walks home with the 5th run of the half inning.
So the umpire, as you may notice, stands off to the opposite side of home base than the batter. He has the top hat, and he is the one deemed to arbiter the game.
And let's see, there is 1 out. There's a high pop fly foul down the first base line past the light pole.
And the umpire should make that call a little earlier.
And the ball is dead.
The ball?
So the runners have to stay where they are until the ball gets back to the pitcher and becomes live.
As the fielders are struggling, so is the umpire during this game. That tended to happen.
No, he's standing still. The umpire has positioned himself as he should on the so that he can watch the foul line of the batter's pull field. For the left-hander who's up now, that's down toward first base.
That was a fine swing.
And a ground ball that eludes the second baseman, goes out to right field. The runner on second came around third, noticed that the fielders were rather arthritic, and came home.
Here's a veteran coming to the bat here, Rich Arpey.
Yes, Rich Harpy of the Quick Steps of Minnesota, who's played vintage baseball since the 1980s. The runner on first is taken off for second. The catcher decides not to throw. And as a result of defensive indifference, he is now on second. And next pitch bounces to the plate, which Harpy decides not to swing at. Runner on second digs for third, and Harpy follows the ball off.
Which is a mistake, because
so
now
the runner has to get back to the base before the ball is forwarded there, which he makes.
in 1860, there was no advancement on a foul ball at any time. So the play that just occurred, once that runner takes off, he must get back to the base before the ball goes through the pitcher, and that includes the pitcher standing on second to make a play, and then to put the the runner out.
And since he was safe, there's still only one out.
I would have to say that Rich Harpy would need to see his optometrist, because he could clearly see that runner was taking off. He should not have swung.
He may not have noticed.
That's what I'm saying. He's got to see his optometrist.
More likely because Harpy hits another foul tick, and the catcher hangs on to this one. And apparently there were two out, not one, because the teams are the batting team, the conglomeration is going out to the field.
Here comes the captain of the Ernst Club. Yes, sir.
Do you have an approximate number of runs?
I think
5.
5 to 4.
5 for the conglomeration.
If you're asking us, I would say you have a lot of problems.
Only 9. Scores of 5 in one half inning and 3 in the other half inning were not unusual. Scores in 1860 tended to be elevated compared to modern times.
You may notice the styles and varieties of bats that are being used today. The game in 1860.
I think you need to describe them.
Well, I will. I just
Okay.
want to quickly say that in the 1860s, the game was singles and advancing the base runners. It was not the home runs that we see today. The bats come in different lengths and weights. The batter here is using a mushroom handle. It's actually a rather short bat for the time period. Usually the bats were probably 36, 38, 40 inches long at that time.
Unless they weren't. There's a controversy about that also.
There seems to be a controversy about everything in 19th century baseball.
Not everything, no, that's an exaggeration.
But you will see a variety of bats being used.
Foul tick not within the range of the catcher.
Now we have now we have a substitute umpire for the original umpire, Corky Gaskill.
Yes, this gentleman's wearing a black suit trousers, and a frock coat.
Reminiscent of an undertaker.
Pop up to the pitcher, which he takes successfully on the fly, and there was one out.
Now Stacy Beebe to bat. So if you can see what she's doing, she's marking what would be a 3-foot line coming through the base to position herself. Anytime a batter would hit the ball and have 2 feet in advance of that 3-foot line toward the pitcher, that's a fine.
And
fine
there's
strike.
a fly foul, which is
Caught.
swallowed up by the left fielder, who was playing way over toward the line, and got it easily, even with a casual gesture on the first bounce.
Yeah.
There have been 2 outs in succession.
We're doing the. Okay. Okay.
And there's another pop fly
This
to
will be
the
a problem.
infield.
This will be a problem.
The first baseman isn't on the base, so the batter will certainly make it safely.
You can see exactly.
The first baseman shouldn't have left his base.
Certainly. That's a pitcher's ball all the way. As a pitcher myself,
The
I would have
pitchers
gotten
or the
that.
second baseman or the shortstop, whoever was quicker.
Well, I want to say
It's
that
more difficult for the pitcher as he's going backwards. There's a line
that's another
drive,
hit.
which is taken on one
Oh,
hop by
nice
the
play.
shortstop.
Nice play.
Moving to his left a good half a dozen steps. And he's recorded the third out of the inning. So the Ernsts draw a a round O for their half
Yes.
inning.
Yes. The the 1860 game, or we'll say 1860s baseball. Your two best athletes probably were the pitcher and the catcher, as they handled the ball the most. They passed the ball between them the most. They had a large control over how the game was played.
And however, for this game, where the pitching is restricted to slow
Yes.
feeder pitching,
Yes.
that the pitcher, that description of the pitcher as an athlete doesn't really apply. The shortstop is the shortstop, and the left fielder are probably the most skilled, because the catcher isn't. The catchers aren't seriously expected to challenge stolen bases. Many vintage teams do not steal bases altogether
We still don't know why.
because it's inconvenient for them.
Well, when you put someone behind home plate that is 78 years old, it's certainly inconvenient, isn't it?
Oh, yes. There's a line drive out to left field by the first batter for the
That's
Gloms.
Scooter,
It's
and he's like a
Scooter. Scooter stumbles going to first base,
He
and so can't take advantage of the left fielder's miscue
He
with the
looked
ball.
like a newborn deer there, didn't he? Getting down the line, twice he fell.
Well, he doesn't have spots.
And here is the president of the VBA, Gary Shipakasi.
Who hits a million hopper out to the first baseman who isn't covering the base.
This is a problem here.
And yeah,
The pitcher did not move.
but he still could have left it for the second baseman. But since the first baseman wandered off, there wasn't any point to whatsoever.
Wandered off. That's a
They
good,
could
a
have-
good term.
He could have sat on it and hatched it for all the good it was going to do. Here's another batter,
Second baseman.
the second base person.
There were far less women teams in the 1860s than there were men's teams.
Actually, there are practically none.
Far less.
The batter is a lady.
Far less would
She just
indicate
missed a pitch. And the next one, though, she clobbers out to shortstop, but the shortstop catches it on the fly, and then forwards it to second, but the runner on second managed to get back to the base before he could be put out. But there is one out, I think.
There's one out. One hand.
One hand. There's a pitch that bounces a few times before it gets to the plate. And that one was a bit wide, but was probably hittable.
That was a hittable ball, absolutely.
Eric is a pitcher and therefore is a perpetually in large strike zone.
Yes, absolutely. Now,
Ball hit out to second base, taken on one hop by the center fielder, who then forwards it to the second baseman. Apparently not in time to get the runner advancing from second, which he could do at risk since the ball bounced once.
now in a case like this where it was not clear, they could ask the umpire for judgment, and then he would decide if that player, in this case Gary Shipakasi, was out or safe.
In a friendly game like this one, which isn't at all competitive, wouldn't expect to see many calls for judgment by the umpire.
It's a good thing I'm not playing.
Yes. Eric calls for judgment before the game begins. There's a number out toward
That's gonna
between
be
first
problem.
and pitcher. The first baseman isn't covering the base for whatever reasons. A runner comes home to score. Do you have any idea how many runs have scored this half inning, Eric?
One.
Just that one?
Yes.
Okay. There's two hands?
Yes, two hands.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about that possible
Oh,
double
the one to
play.
center field,
Possible,
yeah.
Yes.
Here's a gentleman with the open stance. He moves his front foot back in line with his back foot when the pitch comes in. And the catcher is going to try to throw the runner out
Good
at second.
throw.
He's too late.
And they might
Runner's
have him
coming
here.
home from third.
Oh, they had him.
And they might have had him.
Now, interesting.
Now he did. Ooh.
Interesting play just happened there. Every runner is, by rule, supposed to have an unencumbered path to the base. And in that case, there was a tangle. Now, you could say within the play, the catcher was moving for the ball was not intentional, but as the rule states, the runner is supposed to have.
And there's a foul tick by the batter on the fly to the catcher, handled successfully, and there are 3 outs in the inning.
So each runner is allowed the base with no obstruction.
The conglomeration scored 1 run and therefore now lead 6-3 as we enter the 3rd inning. We don't have any commercials to go to.
We have,
let's see, fielding team has 6 and the batting team has 3.
3rd inning. Oh, Mr. Sjogren's man after my own heart here. He's actually delivering the ball. I love it. This is nice to see. Now, in 1860, we can only see a quote out on the field, but there was a 12-foot line that the pitcher was required to deliver the ball from behind. He could start if he wanted to at second base, run forward, let the ball go, as long as he did not cross that line. And that line is, of course, centered between second and home base. And
Mr. Sjogren is pitching with a bit more pace, that is speed, than the previous pitcher.
This is good. That's a nice pitch. Nice pitch.
He's taking a lot of time between pitches, though.
This is some good stuff.
And there's a ground ball out to the shortstop, who does not field it cleanly. And the runner trots down to first base.
And Ev made a fine strike there. She made her first. That's another fine
Eric
pitch.
takes some, Mr. Sjogren takes some pace off the pitch.
Still a fine pitch.
That was one pitcher's strategy in 1860.
Another fine pitch.
And there's a pop-up
That's
to
gonna be
the
trouble.
first baseman, which he will not get. And the runners advance. That one was simply well placed. Mr. Ernst is taking his turn at the bat now. That one is too high for Mr. Ernst, being up by his nose.
Hey, remember, a hit batsman doesn't get his base. In 1860, if the batter was hit by the ball, he did not get his base.
And Mr. Ernst swings that one a foot over his head and manages to foul it down to the ground without.
He wouldn't have needed a ladder to actually hit that ball.
Well, he did hit it, but he did hit it. It just didn't go anywhere.
That's a fine,
fine
delivery. Fine delivery.
Yes, he changed his pace, but Mr. Ernst didn't bite.
He didn't like it. It wasn't high enough. That's 2 fine pitches in a row here.
And the grounder out to the pitcher.
Look at.
He will start over to
play.
first base to retire the runner coming from second. One hand is dead.
Fine play. Always in 19th century baseball, today's 19th century baseball, you want to keep a force on. It's so tough to make outs. No one has a glove. By that play by Eric Sjogren, there's a fine play. He still has options now, making outs at second, first, or even third now by keeping that force on.
Here's a batter coming to the base. His shirt tail's hanging out. No gentleman. But it's not required. Batter swings at quite a low pitch, kicks it on the way down to first base. It's a fair ball, and the catcher throws it successfully to first in time to retire the striker.
Now the batter did.
2 hands are dead.
Batter did touch that ball. It was not intentional, so the ball in 1860 for this era, the ball is still in play. It was no intention to move that ball. It simply hit him, and he was on his way. So the ball is still a fair ball, not dead.
The fielding team didn't request a call for judgment anyway on whether the obstruction was intentional. I would have had to request a judgment for the umpire to call anything anyway.
I would say that clearly wasn't intentional.
No, it didn't seem. He would have had to have been rather a dancer.
That's a fine pitch.
That one bounced in front of the plate.
No, behind. Fine pitch.
Yeah, that was at
Hittable
his
ball.
ankles.
Another fine pitch.
And the striker
Another fine pitch.
makes a swing at the highest of the low pitches that have been coming in and missed it. One strike. And that one was much higher. Mr. Sjogren is going up the ladder on him. And now he's
now's
got
the time,
two swings in a
Now's
row.
the time for a changeup, I would say.
A changeup or one up by the shoulder.
Ah, look at this. What did I call? And
You
that was
called a
fine,
changeup,
and that was a
and,
fine pitch. So does the pitcher knows what he's doing, right? Would you say, Bob?
Yes, he's varying his deliveries, which was an 1860 pitching strategy.
Now here's the problem.
And there's the second change of pace, which he only hits a weak foul back to the catcher, who takes it on one hop
The
to
problem
retire
is-
the side.
If I knew it as an announcer, the batter should have known it as a batter. He should have killed that ball. So this is the end of 3.5.
Now we're coming up to the end of 3 innings. Ernst batted first, I believe.
Yes, they did.
They're in the field now, so this must be the
The bottom
bottom
of
of the third.
fourth.
No, there's only been 3 innings. The conglomeration scored 5, and then they scored 1, and now they're up again. I think, unless I missed a whole inning.
They went down 1, 2, 3 last time up.
Okay, then you're
They-
right.
yeah.
How many did the conglomeration
None,
get last inning?
none. That's what I'm saying. They went down
Okay.
1. So this is the fourth.
Okay, I'm updated. We're on the in the bottom of the 4th inning.
That's a fine pitch.
Pitchers are taking a lot of time between pitches, but that's partially because the catchers aren't getting it back to them with any snap.
Yeah,
It could have been quick pitching there. The
Yes.
catcher made a good throw. Hey, million hopper to the first baseman. He lets it go off his. Lets it go off him, but then stands in front of the base and lets the runner run into him.
In 1860, the pitcher did not have to wait for the batter to be ready. The ball was always in play. As soon as the pitcher got the ball, he could throw it right back. There was no need to wait for the batter to be set. It was the batter's job to be set.
And it was a good strategy to try to catch the batter unprepared.
Certainly. Another fine
Batters,
pitch.
however, did not have to swing at pitches, even
Yes.
good ones,
So
with-
in effect, you could
in
be.
effect until, say, 1866 or even 1867.
So as a batter, you could not be ready and stand there and still force the pitcher to throw the ball.
No. And there's a pop fly. It goes out to the third base person, who catches it off her chest and holds
2
onto
hands.
it. And let's see, that makes how many outs?
2 hands.
Wow, there's 2 hands dead
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
The batters apparently wore themselves out in the first inning.
First 2, yeah. Eric Sjogren, the pitcher for the Ernst.
Also a
Side.
good hitter.
That was a fine pitch. Fine pitch there.
The batters can wait for one exactly where they want it, which a wise batter does. Mr. Sjogren got one there where he wanted, apparently, but he missed it anyway.
I would say it wasn't where he wanted it. He missed it.
He might have thought he wanted it there, but
That's
you have to be
that's
careful what you wish for.
Exactly. He might have thought he wanted exactly my point. That's a.
And apparently, I don't know why he wanted that one.
was-
It bounced 2 feet in front of the plate.
kidding me?
But he swung at it anyway and now has 2 strikes. There's a line drive, but it went foul down the third base.
And as you heard, the umpire made the call correctly. As soon as he deemed it foul, he let the
As soon as it hit
players
the
know.
ground. The umpires need to call things as loudly as they can to make sure that batters and fielders hear it promptly.
Hey, batter, let's make the ball make the plate, all right?
A foul tick.
No,
Mr. Shelgren is not having a stellar at bat.
no.
That pitch right down the middle was fouled weakly on one hop to the catcher who dropped it.
That's a fine pitch.
There's a pop up
That's
to
going to
the
be a problem.
infield.
That's a problem.
It didn't bounce at all, so the pitcher could pick it up and throw it to first in time to
Retire
get
the side.
in time to get Mr. Shelgren the third out. We've now played 4 innings, all except for the first inning. They've been pretty dull, but illustrative of points of play. The score remains the Gloms 6 and the Ernsts 3. The pitcher has changed again.
They've moved Sjogren out to right field now.
Which
No, they moved him to first base.
that's a good choice.
He's moved the first baseman to the outfield.
He's a good first baseman. He won't charge after ground balls or drop many throws. And there's a strange-looking swing.
Good play, Bob. Right back to the booth.
Ooh,
You
bad throw by the announcer.
You better practice that.
I should have straightened up first and set myself. And there's a
That's a
number
fair
out
ball.
in front of the mound, in front of the plate. But the catcher can't get to it in time to catch the runner, who is fairly speedy.
I wonder if the catcher was paying attention on that play.
The catcher may not have been paying attention. There's far too many people to talk to behind
Exactly.
the catcher.
It's a good thing I'm not back there.
Sjogren takes a modest lead off.
Oh,
That's because he's the first baseman.
Yeah, right.
The runner didn't take a lead off at all, but when the catcher dropped the pitch, he ran off to second base.
Now, getting back to the strikes, let's just say that if the umpire deemed the batter allowed multiple good pitches to pass, he could then warn and then call strikes on the batter. That was a fine pitch.
He may be waiting for the
Yes,
runner to take off for third base, but apparently not.
that was a strategy. Oh, here we go.
Why did the runner go for? Runner
gotta
shouldn't have gone to third.
Throw it to the pitcher.
So if they know this bunch knows the rules, they'll throw it back to second base, and the runner will be out. But they apparently don't know the rules because they're not doing it. Somebody is telling him to throw it to second, but there's nobody at the base. He's waiting for the second baseman to get over so he can go throw him out.
Holy cow. There it is. And this will put the runner out.
And the runner is out.
The runner is out.
But the umpire, the runner has to be convinced yet. He's still standing on third
They're
base.
telling him now. He's out. That was that took far too long to complete, let me tell you.
Yeah.
And right away, it should have been done immediately.
The runner is apparently an inexperienced player. It's a major difference between modern and 1860 rules.
What I mentioned earlier, Bob, was there's no advancement on the foul ball, and the ball becomes live once it goes through the pitcher. In this case,
yeah, and the runner has to be back in time.
yes.
There's another
That's a fair
ball.
Run is fast.
And the
throw
catcher
is-
throws a pop fly to
Yeah.
first base, which is too late to get the runner.
That runner could have almost made second by the time that ball came down.
Yeah.
Here's
Mr. Ernst is counseling the disappointed runner who wasn't aware of that the ball was foul when he ran on it. It could have been a fair foul. Because of fair fouls, it's not a clear-cut decision.
unfortunately
The catcher was again distracted
Yeah, he
and let
was-
a one-bounce foul
yeah,
kick go by
it
him.
went right past him. That was
Yeah.
another easy play.
This catcher will probably not advance to a higher league.
That's a fine pitch.
And
Fine
there's a
swing.
good pitch, which the batter completely misses,
In fact,
having taken her eye off the ball.
the conglomeration has employed 2 catchers because the first catcher is
Incompetent.
he's
yeah.
having a social outing.
Yeah. And there's a pop-up that the pitcher will attempt on. He catches it for the third out of the inning.
Now we come to the bottom of the 5th.
That was an interesting, if unproductive, inning for the Ernst. There's no substitute for knowing the rules. But then the Mr. Ernst, if not otherwise engaged, could have yelled at his runner to stay put,
Yes.
which he might have heard and done. But if there were multiple voices saying conflicting things in the background, then that wouldn't have helped. On a good team with some discipline, only the captain will yell at the runners.
Well, I can tell you on my team that would never happen because that person would be berated beyond belief, as New Yorkers do to each other, as you might know.
If it was berated afterwards, it wouldn't have helped.
No.
He would have had to have been berated before he did it.
Yes.
1860 games between teams actually did take about the same time as modern professional games.
Yeah.
3 hours and sometimes even 4 hours. But in that time period, pitchers, because they were quick pitching, might combine to make 600 pitches.
Certainly. And this afternoon during my talk, I will touch on that. When you have,
it has to be an energetic team, though, as a pitcher who will pitcher and catcher who can take advantage of the rule allowing quick pitching.
there's a fine strike.
Which the
fine
shortstop
play.
blocks, picks it up,
Fine play.
and gets it to first base.
That was a fine play all around on short and at first. Fine
The
play.
throw was a bit offline, but the first baseman hustled over, took it on the fly, and tagged the runner.
Bob, getting back to your point about the length of the games, when you had top teams between, say, the Mutuals, the Atlantics, the Eckfords, teams like those games tended to go on. The waiting game that occurred between the batter and the pitcher. And
They would still be in the 3 hour range.
Absolutely. They went on forever, those games.
Oh, not 3, no, 3 hours or so. But they were very, very alert athletic teams that could make a lot of pitches in a short period of time.
Yes.
Even with the batters waiting to allow runners to steal, and pitchers trying to make batters lose patience and swing at one they weren't prepared to swing at.
That's a fine pitch.
That's a foul ball.
No, he didn't. He said nothing, so it is a fair ball. And now it's
He's safe because it was mishandled by the first baseman trying to feed it to the second baseman. I don't know what the umpire is seeing there.
Rich Arpey.
And there goes the runner to second.
And Rich Arpey swings again as the runner attempts.
So there will be another double play.
No, third. That was the third hand.
That was the third hand. Okay. There could have been another double play.
Arpey was lucky on that one.
Arpey is apparently myopic when it
Yes.
comes to recognizing situations. Maybe in another 30 years.
Yeah. We have the top of the 6th inning.
And there hasn't been any scoring for a while. And at this point, given the team's energy level and
I guess breakfast is worn off.
something like that.
This is the pitcher for.
A different pitcher.
No, I'm to the batter. Is the pitcher for the.
Oh, the pitcher,
yes. Mr. Beebe.
The conglomeration's pitcher is batting, or are these the Ernst who are batting? No, it's the Ernst.
Batter is having a runner run for them. With the runner will stand behind the foul line.
A substitute runner.
And then once the ball is struck, is able to take off. Pitchers, 2 good deliveries here.
And there's a foul ball.
Two good deliveries there by the pitcher. Very good deliveries.
That ball was a rather low.
That was, I'll give you that one. The first one I
You
first.
should. I think it hit near the back of the plate.
That was another fine pitch there.
That was a good pitch.
Yeah.
He could have swung at, but
Absolutely.
he wasn't ready for it.
He
so
wasn't
he
ready.
Didn't bother.
Another good pitch. Fine pitching here, I must say.
Shortstop goes through the shortstop, grounders through the shortstop's wickets, and the courtesy runner makes first base easily.
The shortstop there, his name is Justin, made a fine play early in the game, came across, picked up a ground ball. Still, very tough to do with no glove. Very tough to float sideways and get that ball.
There's one rather high, but that apparently suits the batter because he swung at it. And the runner on first strolled down to second. A ground ball to the shortstop's right. It gets past. He
made a
blocks it.
fine play. He kept it in front of him. Not that the runner would advance. However, that was a fine play by Justin, the shortstop. If you notice, either pitchers on either team are not even holding the runners on, which is allowing them their large leads to advance. Another fine pitch.
With clubs that normally don't steal bases, pitchers don't have any incentive to hold runners on
now
until they don't learn to do it.
Right. Now, one of the ways a pitcher would balk in 1860 was if that pitcher faked home or came home. You could fake to first, fake to second, spin around and throw home. That's how you would hold the runners on. You cannot fake home. So once you're in your natural delivery toward home, you must continue to not have a balk called against you. But holding runners on at this era.
And there's a pop fly out towards shortstop. Shortstop gets it and gets a double play by tagging the mysteriously advancing runner.
Now, quickly, that shortstop did not have to catch that ball and, in fact, could have turned a triple play if necessary.
He could have dropped the ball.
Or pushed it to the third baseman.
Tagged to the runner.
Yes.
Dropped the ball, let it bounce a couple of times, tag the runner, and throw to first.
Yes. There's a fine strike.
And the shortstop doesn't quite get that one, though he made a strong effort. The center fielder sort of hatches it, and the runner on second is coming around the third and will score. And then the runner on second goes to third because the third baseman's off the base, and so on and so on and so on and so on.
I think the shortstop might be injured. He really.
Yeah, he dived and may have caught himself in the turf.
He might be injured. Yeah, he's young though. He'll adjust. That's another run here for Ernst side. Would that make 7 for them?
You sure it's Ernst side? I don't see Ernst.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Oh no, I take that back. I apologize. That's the.
Can you identify anybody who's on the conglomeration?
Conglomeration would be Eric Sjogren.
Sjogren's on the conglomeration?
Yes, so Ernst.
You're right, he was.
Yes.
So that makes it 7-3.
Yes, sir.
Which means we're in the bottom of whatever inning this is.
Well, the 5th.
Pop fly toward the shortstop. Third baseman drops, however, cuts in front of him and drops it. And the 8th run scores for the conglomeration.
Rich Arby showed you how not to play a pop-up to the infield. 8-3.
8-3.
For the Ernst, bottom 5.
And let's see, is there anybody out? Yeah. 2 hands.
2 hands. Fine pitch there.
The runner takes off for second, and there's no attempt to put him out.
Fine pitch again. That's going to be
fly ball. Shortstop's backing up on it. Eludes him.
Fine
but the
play.
Left fielder
Fine play by the left fielder.
Comes in and makes a sliding one-hop catch.
Fine play.
To retire the conglomeration with 2 runs scored in the 5th inning.
Move to the top of the 6th, 8-3.
And the conglomeration strolls out to their positions. And the Ernsts stroll in.
Scooter. Don't be afraid. Hit the ball.
I did last time.
Really?
We're gonna get
And you look like a deer going down first base.
I know.
Learn to
I
run,
slept
okay?
in the mud,
You
okay?
look like deer on linoleum. Let's go.
Tell me what I could hit off you today.
Oh, no you don't, because you wouldn't hit me. No, you wouldn't. Ev doing a fine job behind the dish. And I say dish because home base until 1869 was circular.
And there's a sharp ground ball to the third baseman, goes off her ankles and bounces out into short left field. And the runner has overrun first base, but they weren't making a play on him, and so he was not penalized for putting himself at risk like that.
Right. You could overrun first, however, you could be put out at first in 1860. That rule ended with the start of the 1871 season, National Association's professional first season, that the base runner was allowed to overrun first if he turned to the right. Ev like a cat behind the dish here. That's a fair ball.
A sort of shuffling swing and off.
Oh, nice
but it went down
toss!
the first baseline.
It hit a lump. They would have had the president, but it hit a lump and turned towards second.
So there are runners now at the first and second. The first two runners of the first two batters of the inning have reached.
That's a bad pitch.
And there's a worse pitch. Had trouble getting the ball 45 feet. That one's a little higher.
That's a fine pitch.
And the batter takes a lot of backswing, swings wildly through, and makes a little bit of contact, but not enough to be put out on.
Another fine pitch. Oh, that's
and
a fine
there's a line
strike.
drive
A
into
fine
left field.
strike. Could be a play at third.
That takes
no, but a fine strike nonetheless.
a line drive in between the third baseman and the left fielder.
Third baseman playing rather deep.
Third baseman playing way deep, and the left fielder was playing shallow, but is now backing up.
There's another fine strike. We have
Hey,
one
which
hand, a run scored.
Fielder's choice, what will be called in the future a fielder's choice. The third baseman ran to third to retire the runner coming from second, instead of contesting the runner heading toward home.
So that's Ernst's boys getting another run.
8-4. Ground ball out to the shortstop, gets through his wickets and out to the left fielder.
It's going to be a play at third.
Still a play at third. And the third baseman hangs on to the relay to retire the runner coming from second. Two hands are dead.
Shortstop Justin now batting.
Runners remain on first and second.
Very nice strike. That is an awful pitch.
And there's a pitch was too far and too much arc.
Much better.
And there's a foul out of the range of the catcher.
That hit Scooter in the mouth, I think. He was probably talking.
He usually is. Runners are remaining on their bases for some reason.
Now, if you notice, the batter has changed his position. There was no rule as to number of pitches seen, taken. You can move whenever you want. And that's a balk right there. If I was the umpire, I would have called a balk on the pitcher.
He interrupted his delivery because the umpire, may have been because the umpire was messing around, talking to the batter.
Still a balk, my friend.
It's still a balk, but the pitcher isn't allowed to interrupt his delivery.
Fine pitch.
A swinging strike on the batter. He apparently was trying to do too much with the pitch. And there's a very high arc pitch which goes too deep. The pitcher is changing the arc of his delivery from pitch to pitch. Another contemporary strategy. The striker looks unworried.
Absolutely. I would be too.
And
A
he
fine
lets
pitch.
a fine pitch go by.
For some reason, the pitcher is waiting for the batter to be ready, which I would not do.
No. And the batter obliges by hitting a very foul fly ball.
After seeing the batter swing and hit the ball that far, I would not wait 1 second. As soon as I got the ball, I'd be right back at him.
Oh, that was a catchable ball, even if hit fair.
Hit that ball fair, please, Justin.
It should be mentioned that this is the first outing of the season for most of the players. And a very low pitch is swung out, and a very
That's gonna
high
be
fly hit
problems.
to the infield.
Ooh.
Corralled on one hop by the, might be the first baseman.
Yes, first baseman.
First baseman. Behind the pitcher's plate.
So that's
The pitcher has a plate as well.
after 6,
8-4.
8-4 for the conglomeration.
Conglomeration. The conglomeration is strolling languidly out to their positions. The next Ernst batter is ready, but the field is not.
Top 7 here, as we would say,
The beginning of the 7th innings.
is better. 7 innings, I like that. Fine pitch.
And Mr.
Fine
Sjogren
pitch.
has returned to the mound and
Fine pitch.
whipped one of the fastest pitches of the day past the batter.
Another
And
fine
there's another
delivery.
one.
And that
Fouled weakly to the catcher, who takes it on the fly for the first out.
fine pitching there.
If they let Mr. Sjogren finish the game, we'll be done much sooner. And another fastball up high, but popped out to the second baseman, who takes it.
Fine play here.
Two batters, two fastballs popped up,
The,
2 successful takes.
the
2 outs.
conglomerations.
And Mr. Ernst, who won't hit Mr. Sjogren's fastball either.
That was he
Um,
lets a fine pitch go by.
He should have swung at that one because it's the best one he's going to get.
That's the way to do it.
One too high, which he does swing at, and pops up over by our station here.
Mr.
Out of
Ernst
the
would have
reach of
needed
the
a
catcher.
ladder to hit that ball.
Swing at the ones below your shoulders. Mr. Ernst appreciates advice.
Apparently he doesn't take it, though.
He doesn't take it, though,
He's-
no.
He swung at 2 awful pitches. There it is again. That's
And
a
he hits,
fine play.
Ernst hits a second hopper,
play there,
two-hopper out
fine
to the
play
second baseman, who
6-pitch inning.
takes it successfully.
Rare. 6-pitch inning.
6 pitch, no error, half inning.
Yeah.
The only errors were by batters swinging
Yes.
at pitches in odd locations.
Now, back in 1860, that would be a very rare inning. The batters would certainly have taken more pitches to try to wear out the pitcher. But for us today, as modern people, this is we enjoy. We don't want to see 90 pitches in an inning. That's for sure. They don't even
Not delivered at the pace
Oh, God.
with the time
Certainly
between
not.
delivery
Oh,
that the
goodness, no.
pitchers today are
No,
taking.
sir. You're right.
Quick pitching is a different matter.
Yeah.
There you can appreciate them trying to get the batter, trying to catch the batter unawares and unprepared,
Yeah.
like James Creighton used to do,
Yes. Or
and pitchers before him and after.
yes. Or the person I discovered, Joe Sprague, as well.
And virtually any pitcher of the day who was up on his skills.
Bottom 7. Fine pitch there. Fine pitch.
This batter goes to an unskilled barber, He got the sides and back of his head shaved, but didn't take anything off the top.
Actually, I thought he lost a bet.
Yeah. Ooh, quick pitch.
And that would be a pitch behind the batter.
Except that, well, it hit him.
Yes.
And this guy is pitching at a phenomenal pace. And there's a pop-up lifted to center, which the center fielder takes on one hop, retiring the batter.
Some people may have
Is
noticed.
that 2 outs again?
That would be 1.
It's still only
Yeah.
1?
People may notice the center fielder has a number on his shirt that did not occur in the 19th century at any time
No, he's using a shirt from another team.
after 1923.
Well, that was temporary in 1923. Oh, uh-oh. This batter is batting out of order.
I would say today no one would have any idea.
The game's level of organization is not up to doing anything about this situation.
Fine shortstop.
Million hopper to the shortstop who takes it.
Oh.
First baseman does not handle it. It goes behind her, and the runner advances to
Ev
second.
misplayed that ball. However, still a great effort. Great play by the shortstop. Great play.
Mm-hmm.
Both shortstops. Fine athletes.
Or at least they can field a ground ball.
I was on this field before the game. Very lumpy, very
Mhm.
wet, very slippery.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing a hell of a job. Eric Sjogren to bat. See if he can hit a fair ball.
Pitcher looks at the runner, who is way the heck off second base.
That's a fine delivery.
However, the second baseman wasn't covering, so there wasn't any possibility of actually trying to keep him
Oh, that's
down.
a drive, but
Mr. Sjogren
well foul.
launches a long foul down the left field line.
You notice the ball had to be retrieved in 1860. 1 ball per game was used. Wherever that went, it was found. That's a fine
And there's
strike.
a fly ball out into
Fine
right
strike.
field. The right fielder gets it. Did not
Wow.
get it.
Oh, he did. He got it
He
on
got
the
it.
bounce. Absolutely. Fine strike. Opposite field hitting.
Gets it on the bounce. Mr. Sjogren's checking in to see if it was a legitimate one-hop catch.
Conglomeration scores another
it was.
run,
The runner, meanwhile, came around,
making the score.
making the score a 9 for the conglomeration and a 4 for the Ernsts.
That was some fine batting there.
One pitch has been too deep, the next one too short. Need to get him in the middle.
There's a fine
There's
strike.
one. Shortstop takes this
Nope, he's
ground
got
ball.
plenty of time.
2 hops.
Ev. Oh.
Overthrows first base. And this runner could get to third if he so wanted
I
to.
believe that water went in the drink, Bob. Now, unless the
Where is the
umpire
ball?
calls a block,
Oh, the first baseman has the ball, so the runner has stayed on third.
that ball is what we would deem today out of play based on the foul lines. However,
They would have had to set that as a ground
Yes.
rule before the game,
yes,
which they
it wasn't
apparently
here.
did not.
So the runner, as the ball leaves our sight, it still circles the bases because the umpire decided it was not a block, which would be a dead ball.
No, apparently no spectator blocked it.
Yes. Fine pitch.
And there's a foul
Oh.
tick, not taken on the first stop.
Very close, very close. They did call him out, actually.
Oh,
That's 3 hands.
according to the umpire, that was caught on the first stop.
That's
Apparently there was a call for judgment, and
That's-
the umpire ruled.
7 full innings played with the score, the conglomerates,
Yes,
9,
9.
and Ernst,
Ernst,
5.
4.
They scored 1 last inning.
They did.
I think they did.
I don't think so.
Hey, excuse me, can you roll down your Ev, can you roll down your sleeves, please? Roll them down. Okay, top of the 8th inning. Fine hurl, fine hurl. I don't know what that means.
Urges?
Oh boy. Another fine.
Hey, ground ball to third baseman. He doesn't quite get down far enough for it. Shortstop picks it up, but it's too late to get the runner.
Oh wow, that was. I tell you what, that was closer than anybody could ever believe. Justin, the third baseman, made a fine attempt as a shortstop. The new shortstop here for the Conglomerates made a fine play after it went through Sjogren's wickets.
It actually just went under his hand. He didn't bend over far enough. Runner on first takes a short lead. May not be
fine
contemplating
hurl, fine
larceny.
hurl. That's a terrible term. Fine pitch. Has a
fly ball lifted out
easy
to
play.
left center.
For some reason, they don't want to.
The center fielder, however, gives it the old ole and doesn't come up with it. And runners are now on first and second.
That should be one hand. When you
Center
have
fielder should have gotten that one.
much air under the ball, is plenty of time to get there. Unless you're modeling rings or watches, you got to get in there and catch that ball.
That was a Hank Sauer special.
Well,
oh, yeah.
does not have to go through the, somebody incorrectly yells out, it has to go through the pitcher. It was a straight
It was a bad yes.
pass ball. I've never heard that before. Interesting stuff
No,
you
the
hear
ball
during a
wasn't
game,
touched.
isn't it? What
You hear
the
people, yeah,
people's
people that
rules,
can't
how
sit
they
there.
come up with things. It's almost maddening to try to straighten them out. There's another fine hurl. Nice. This
Ground
is gonna
ball
bring a
knocked
run
out
home.
into center field.
So bring one home. Might bring two home. They got him out at first. Run scores.
Run scores, but the center fielder,
Made a fine play. First baseman again, Justin. Fine stretch on that.
the first baseman is acrobatic.
Yes. That would be now 5.
And the 5 for the Ernst.
Okay, we'll go with
you
5.
you were just in future tense there when you said they had 5 before.
Okay.
Grounder out to the shortstop. Throw to first.
No.
Throw to first
6.
arrives too late.
6.
The throw from the first baseman is rather wild, gets past the catcher. And a 6th run scored, and the batter advances to second.
No. Making a game of it now.
And the score is now 9-6. And the conglomeration can hear the Ernst footprints coming up behind them.
Fine pitch.
The batter takes a swing and
Almost
misses
wasn't ready to swing, if you noticed.
Yes,
Then decided at the last second, why not?
he was not prepared.
Another
Now he is
fine
prepared
oh,
and hits a
great-
one-hopper to the
Great
pitcher,
play.
which is
Great play.
out since he was caught on one hop.
I can tell you from experience,
It's not as
approaching
easy as it looks.
900 matches, that is tough to do. You have
Yeah, the pitcher has to be ready to field his position.
absolutely. And sometimes
see, we
defend
have-
yourself.
We have 2 outs now.
2 hands.
Yeah.
Yes. Also to defend yourself many times.
Here's the
Fine hurl.
here's
Oh,
the shortstop,
nice.
and he bats it out to right center. It will not be caught
No.
on one hop, and the center fielder picks it up and gets it back in to the shortstop.
This will make it 7. If you notice on that play, the
And the runner throwing into second, and the runner on third took advantage of that to score the 7th run for the Ernst.
the VBBA president was his ball, yet he watched the center fielder make an attempt. That was another interesting play.
The pitcher makes a throw over to first to keep the runner
Now
close.
this is what we're talking about.
And a
That's how
second
you keep
throw
them
over to
close.
first.
That's how you keep them close. That's
And
good
then
work.
throws a deep pitch, which the batter ignores.
Watch him. There you go. Now,
He's still only, batter on first is only taking a short lead. And there's another throw over to first. Batter lifts
That's
a
gonna be
short
trouble.
fly ball out to short center, which the center fielder takes on a hop.
and that's
Retiring the Ernst, but they have a successful inning with 3 runs. to make a ball game of it. Ernst trail by 2, 9-7, entering the
Top of the eighth.
conglomeration's 8th inning, the bottom of the 8th, or bottom innings. Now the teams stroll languidly in toward the plate and out to the field. It'll be a few minutes before they are in position and ready to resume. Top of the 8th?
Yes.
I thought the Ernst batted
No,
first.
top of the 8th. Top of the 8th.
But the Ernst were just scoring. And they batted first.
I don't remember that. We'll check that shortly. That is a fine strike.
Fly ball out to right field. The right fielder is in
And
position and takes it.
As he should on the fly.
On the fly.
Not allow the ground to have any effect on making a play. That was a
That's
fine
the right
play.
fielder was the shortstop last
Yes.
inning, so they had the right fielder in the right place at the right time.
Rich Arpey now approaching the dish and watches a great
Watches a
nice
hittable pitch go
oh,
by.
absolutely. I don't know.
I think but he likes him a bit higher, so I don't think.
There's
he'll
one,
swing it.
and he still doesn't swing.
And that's up by his head. So
I don't
that's
think he doesn't know what he's doing.
I think he
perhaps.
wants a high pitch between the waist and the shoulders. But there he swung at a low one, so I was wrong. The fielder drops his pop fly, but gets it to first base in time to retire Arpey.
2 hands.
What happened to the first hand?
The right fielder caught the
Oh,
ball
the
on
right
the
fielder
fly.
caught a fly.
Are you drinking?
Pardon?
Are you drinking?
Maybe I should be.
But perhaps. Scooter asking for time. I don't know why. There is no time unless the captain of the team informs the umpire. I would pitch that ball as his lips are flapping. That would be me.
He did it while he was still pounding his bat upon the plate.
Doesn't matter.
But, so it got the same unpreparedness objective.
I think Scooter is always unprepared.
Foul tick, not held by the catcher.
I thought you hurt yourself on that swing. You made a loud noise. Stacy, good job. Oh, that's a
No strike
oh,
since
wait.
the foul isn't a strike.
I would never have not pitched when the batter puts up his hand. Look at this.
Line drive to the shortstop, caught on one hop, and there are
That's
three
three.
out. Oh, the whichever team that is was retired 3 batters in a row. The second time that's happened this game.
Yeah, 9-7, 9, yes.
Okay. Oh, the Ernst batted second.
They did now. Sjogren back.
Sjogren has
Behind the
been
line.
brought back for the for a third time this game. Since he hasn't been out of the line, since he hasn't been out of the lineup altogether, or maybe he has. But this is a friendly game, and players are allowed to leave the game and come back in.
Remember, he's played third and first also today.
Yeah, but he didn't play either one last inning.
He might have needed a break.
Since both teams have more than 9 players and everybody's batting anyway, you don't really leave the lineup whether you're fielding or not.
Yeah. Now in 1860,
In friendly games, that happens.
yes, but in the more competitive
In
games,
interclub matches,
yes,
no.
absolutely not.
These are 2 pick 9s.
Yes. A fine pitch, fine pitch.
Which the batter ignores since that one was too hard to hit. And it's not a strike anyway. There's another
Another fine
fastball,
pitch.
also ignored. Going to wait for the sitting on the change of pace.
If I'm a pitcher, I do not bring it.
There's
That's
another
another
fastball.
fine pitch.
And another one ignored.
Fine pitching.
That the umpire, as was the norm in that in 1860, isn't warning him. There's a hittable one that's knocked out to the shortstop on the ground. And the
got
throw to first is too
I say
late.
he's got him.
It looked too late to me, but we'll see if anybody asks the umpire to say anything. They're leaving it on first.
Justin claims the runner was safe.
The sides agreed that the runner was safe without any input from the umpire. Leadoff runner on first. High pitch, not surprisingly missed by the batter. Another of Sjogren's fastballs.
Fine pitch.
And that one's ignored. The runner takes off for second. No contest.
If Arpey was up, he would have swung at that ball. That's not.
There's a
good.
low fastball right on the plate. Haven't seen a change of pace yet. But since he's taking a lot of time between pitches, it probably wouldn't be effective. It's a Sjogren, isn't a quick pitcher. There's a change of pace, and he
pounded
beats it
into the ground. Fair ball. Sjogren.
Sjogren's off the mound to
And-
field it,
and-
makes a wide throw to first base. Runner's batter's safe. Runner moves on to third. Still nobody out. Oh, the Ernsts are in good shape.
Stacy Beebe coming to
The
bat.
tying run is at first base. Another beater into the ground, and they'll have a run.
Last time out, I believe.
It's only the bottom of the eighth.
Yes.
Hey, fastball too tough to hit, ignored by the batter. Change of pace, hits the batter in the knee.
Now, let's talk about that. That is a live ball. The batter did not make any attempt to move into it, and they don't have to move away from it. So that is a live ball.
The runner on first should have been moving.
Absolutely. It's not a dead ball. It is a live ball.
Runner on first should be moving anyway. There's a runner on third, and they're not going to throw it to second.
Yes. That's a fine pitch there.
Captain Ernst should be telling the runner to get moving.
I think he's taking a nap right
He's talking to the umpire instead. There's a high pitch swung at for some reason, fouled out of the reach to the
It's
catcher.
a dead ball once a fan touches it, which happened with Dennis Wiegman right there.
It went back to a spectator.
Fine pitch, fine pitch.
Good pitch, ignored. The runner almost stole second after somebody in the bench finally yelled at him to do so.
Oh. That's
He's not going.
very short.
It's might call that offensive indifference.
Yes. Or ignorance.
No, he told the bench that he wasn't going.
Fine pitch.
And there's another. The book on this pitcher is to throw her up by her chin and she'll swing at it
Yeah.
and miss. He's done that twice now, this at bat.
Runner almost halfway and then goes back. Fine pitch there.
Which is not good to swing at. It wasn't high enough.
Fine pitch.
It's at the knee, or it was at her front knee, but then it dropped.
Fine pitch again. Nice strike. That's going to foul ball.
And a line drive that doesn't land until it's fouled.
Wow. That could have caused trouble there.
Oh, yeah, would have been a run.
The conglomerates,
This is a long at bat.
this would be more like in 1860 baseball.
Yeah.
That's a
And
foul
another
ball.
foul ball. Batter gets herself off balance. She isn't swinging. She's swinging off her front foot, not her back. Body goes forward, bat stays back. Off balance swing.
High.
That
pitch.
one was so high that the batter, even this batter, didn't swing at it.
If Doug Ernst was up, he might have taken a crack.
Oh yeah, it's always taller.
That's a
It's
little
too
short.
low.
Little short. That's a fine pitch. And there it
There's
is.
a ground
You're
ball.
gonna get a
to
run
third.
home.
Hey, dribbler to third, gets the run home.
Rich
Gets
Arpey
the,
playing in short left
and
field.
Both runners
Holy
are
cow.
safe.
He was really out. He was like he was talking to the left fielder on that play.
He wouldn't have had a play anyway.
That makes the score 9-8.
Tying run on second base, nobody out.
Shane Beebe up now.
The Ernsts look in good position to take the lead for the first time since the first inning.
Fine hurl. Foul
And
ball.
that one's hit foul.
I'm assuming it went off the batter. But
Still would have had
would
to
not
land
make
it.
right. Still would not make a
It
difference.
must have landed foul anyway.
I don't see how, but we'll take his word for it.
Maybe the umpire sees better out of his left eye than his right.
That's another fine pitch. Fine pitch.
Ignored. These batters typically, it seems, don't hit low inside pitches.
That is
Ball knocked out to shortstop, but not catchable on the first hop.
bases are full.
Bases loaded, nobody out. Tying run at third. Sjogren's been unable to get anybody retired.
Maybe third time is not the charm here behind the line. Fine pitch.
Well, to
Fine
retire
pitch.
them, they have to be swinging at that pitch that is better pitches, which they're not. They're waiting for one that isn't better. Batter just called for a slower pitch, which is rather optimistic. But he gave it to him and hit a foul ball. It's too bad that wasn't a fair foul. It could have covered the plate. The catcher is very sensibly calling for all these very deep infielders to crowd in.
Fine pitch.
Yeah, it's up high his head. Batters don't train themselves to hit pitches up that high anymore. And this batter's crouching anyway. If he's tried to hit the pitch up by his head, he'd fall on his face.
That's a fine pitch. This is
Pop fly in a bad place,
oh
right
boy.
down the third base line.
not even going to get an out.
Didn't get any outs. The tying run is in. The bases are still loaded.
Game is tied. That was, you can see disaster right when it left the bat. Rich
Yeah.
Arpey again playing in left field. He's got to move up.
They're just hitting on little 45-foot numbers, but nobody's
Effective.
not putting anybody out.
Effective.
The catcher isn't quick enough to come out. Mr. Sjogren isn't quick enough to cover a lot of ground.
So there's a
And the
lot.
corner infielders are playing way deep.
There's a lot of dead area out there. Sjogren-
The fielders aren't adjusting to the batter's capabilities.
Fine pitch. Fine pitch.
Sharp foul down the third baseline. Sjogren might as well go to all fastballs.
Absolutely.
They're sitting on a change of pace. So
I would,
they're
I
slow
would,
enough
I
for
would
him
throw
to
him a
hit
little
it.
higher up to this batter. Fastball's a little higher. That's what I would do if I was behind the line. That was a fine pitch. I'd still bring it up a little bit higher. Trying to induce him to pop one up. Oh, he smoked that
Line
ball.
drive, smoked past the third baseman,
And
gets the
past
lead
the
run
left
in,
fielder.
goes past the left fielder.
One,
Second run coming in, and the
Two
runner
runs.
heading toward third safely, and the batter into second safely.
now, Ernst now up 11-9. And in fact, Ernst coming to bat. No hands out.
No hands out. They could.
Really put
blow.
some damage in here.
They certainly could.
Fine hurl. Right where Doug wants it.
Yeah, a little
high.
inside though.
Maybe it was too low. I don't know.
No, it's inside. That was a little more inside. Hit Ernston is on the left side.
Hey, I like that. Keep doing that. Remember, he doesn't get his base. Hit him again. Again, the batters in 1860 do not receive there. base if hit by a pitched ball. That's,
High fastball.
That's his style.
Ernst tomahawks it out to the shortstop, and
For the
there's
first
one
down.
out. The runners, of course, hold.
Boy, he likes those high ones, doesn't he? That's
Yeah, the bad back.
well,
He can't get at the low ones.
okay.
He's had a bad back for years. Those are what he can get to.
Okay. Is that what I have to look forward to when I get his age, a bad back?
Probably not.
Okay.
He probably should have had it already at your age.
That's a
Foul tick, not handled, unfortunately, by the catcher.
Fine, fine. Way to induce him there to tip it back. I would now come with a changeup. Well, let's see what he does.
It's too much time between pitches.
He did.
He did
Sort
though.
of. He did, didn't he?
Foul ball, line drive down the third base line, but landing foul.
And he did throw a changeup as I would
He
have.
changed the pace
Yeah, he
on that
did.
one.
I wouldn't
Wasn't
say a
just-
straight changeup. I'd say it's
It was just
yeah,
changing
less.
speeds.
Yes. Yeah, not a as we would call it changeup today.
Not
from
trying to get him out ahead of it,
Yes.
just to get it just disrupt his timing.
It was, and he did actually. He pulled it foul.
In 1860, as forever, pitching is to the disruption of timing.
Oh, that's going to be a problem. Oh,
That's
dead
a
ball.
problem.
It's a dead ball here.
Some spectators showed partiality toward the conglomeration by
Obviously,
stopping that foul.
Obviously, an Ernst supporter. Good pitch.
Another foul tick,
wow.
not handled by the catcher. These foul ticks just been too sharp.
RJ letting a lot of opportunities slip past their hands.
No strikes. High fastball
That's-
popped up in the
That's
infield.
a problem.
Nobody
That's a problem.
can get it. Runner on third's coming home. The first baseman's trying to chase
They're
the
making
batter
out,
and making
and
out.
another run scores.
He got the out. Runner on second's advancing to third and is successful.
And he-
Pushes the third baseman down. We'll have to have an obstruction judgment on that.
Well, and scores.
Are they going to ask for obstruction?
Listen. He moved Arpey like he wasn't even there. It doesn't matter.
He still got knocked him back with his knee.
He did. So now that's 4. They're up by 4 now. That's a
Ground ball right up the middle into center field.
lost in that last play was that the shortstop making a fairly smart play by coming all the way across to take out that batter. 2 hands.
The point might come up next inning whether the Ernst will be told to bat in the 9th, even
That's
though
right.
they're ahead.
Fine pitch. A little outside. There it is.
There is quick pitching.
There we
But the
go.
runner on first goes to second and is successful. Catcher made a throw, but it wasn't on line or in time.
RJ was a little bit further back. Increasing the distance he has to make that ball. Now
Sjogren's quick
now,
pitching.
yes.
He has a catcher
good
who can
work.
get it back to him promptly.
Good work. Good pitch there. This is how it should be. Just like this. Now he takes a break.
Takes a break to check the runner on second.
That was a nice exchange.
Does a change of pace. The batter looks
that's a
completely
problem.
foolish. And swings and misses, but the catcher misses the pitch, and the runner advances to third.
Sjogren saying that it was a dead ball because it was handled by somebody not affiliated with the game. Good pitch.
The umpire apparently didn't agree.
That's right. And that umpire has the final say. Fine pitch there. Good. Nice
Dribbler
little
out to the
poke.
shortstop.
Good play here. Let's see if
Tries
they
to throw him out at first.
And they do.
And does it.
That was a tremendous play. Good.
The
side.
runner scored, but the striker was out, so the run does not count.
Right. And we have after 8 innings.
After 8 innings, we have 13 runs for the Ernsts and
No.
9 for the conglomeration.
Yes.
in the top, and we're beginning the 9th innings.
Yes.
Do we have the score confirmed?
Yes.
13-9.
Are you suggesting stop it now
No.
or at the end of?
If you want to make this is it, this will be it.
This is the 9th inning.
This is the 9th inning. Whether you want to make it top or bottom, you got it.
What do you mean, top or bottom?
You guys
We've gone through 8 full,
Yes.
but we haven't gone through
Right.
the 9th. Well, we got a little time.
okay?
Oh, it's not optional. You have to do 9
Like
innings.
he was making it optional.
He's not the umpire.
We'll tell the umpire. Oh, good pitch.
And there's a dribbler out to the shortstop. Forwards it to first. It's too wide. The umpire, first baseman has to leave the bag, and the runners are safe.
Scooter making a fine run. The treasurer for the VBBA.
And a much too late swing on a slow pitch. And a grounder
an
out
easy
to
double
second
play.
base.
There's one.
The runner's out at
there's not
second.
two.
The throw to first is wild.
That might go in the drink. That's
And the runner on first, with some encouragement,
No,
went
he-
on to first and
he
changed
re-
his mind and went back
he
to first.
returns and holds. Interesting attempt there.
Yes, went halfway, got discouraged by somebody, and came back.
Came back.
It's all in who you listen to.
And when you go halfway and you return halfway, you could have went full way.
Exactly. And there's
Oh,
a
that's a
high inside pitch
fine
that
pitch. Fine
takes the
pitch.
batter's arm off.
Love to see that. That's good
A
strategy.
purpose pitch.
Good strategy. Nice pitch. Nice.
Fly
nice.
ball
Good work.
out toward left
Good work.
field. The left fielder cannot get the
No,
first bounce.
That was
Blocks it. Forwards it back to third base.
That was fine batting.
And
batting.
have runners at first and second with nobody out.
Saw that the left fielder was well over towards center field and laid one in there. Okay, Gary Shipakasi, president of VBBA now at bat. Doesn't look comfortable. We'll see what happens. He's really choked up. And another
hits
number.
a number.
Another,
Almost a bunt.
another number. That's
Advances a runner, but is out himself.
he's nubbed that
I
every
don't know what
time,
he.
I believe.
I think that was a deliberate number. There weren't any bunts.
Well,
at
he's
this
done
point,
it every
as
at
we
bat, so I don't
them.
know if it's deliberate or unlucky. I can't decide.
Well, he
which.
shortened up very far.
This is the second baseman here.
Third and second, but there is one out.
She singled between the shortstop and third baseman earlier in the
And
match.
the pitcher sends in a deep, high arc pitch, which is not swung at.
That's a fine pitch.
And then quick pitches, a second pitch, which the unprepared batter swings and misses at. Oh, he's worked one strike on the batter. Throws another unhittable pitch. See if he gets it back.
That's a fine pitch.
He's quick pitching, but not over the plate.
2 strikes.
But it's too swift a pace for the batter, who now has 2 swinging strikes.
Good. That's
Not
a
giving
fine,
her any time to get ready
that's-
between pitches.
That's what you do. Good strategy.
Good strategy for this batter.
Oh, that was another fine pitch.
But she's apparently prepared to. Not inclined to wait
Oh,
until
that's a
she's
good
unprepared
strike.
again.
And that's going to be
Grounder to shortstop, forwarded to first, 2 hands out.
3 hands out.
3 hands out.
Yes,
Oh, I missed one again.
you did. That's all right. That's it?
Aren't they going to take the bottom of the ninth?
No, they're not. They
Huh.
decided not to. So,
The captains have decided to skip the bottom of the 9th inning and allow the Ernsts to win anyway.
not till 1881 did the game have to go. The home team didn't have to bat ahead after 8.5 innings.
There was a tournament in Detroit in 1867, the World something or other tournament, where they didn't play the bottom of the 9th either. For your information, sir.
So that will conclude this Branson, Missouri historic baseball match with the conglomerates winning actually, sorry,
No, the Ernsts won.
falling 15-10.
I thought it was 13-9.
No, they just scored one.
Oh, no, that was on the 3rd out.
We'll give it to them.
No, okay. The teams
Doesn't
have
matter today.
the teams have lined up to give for the captains to make congratulatory speeches to the other side, following which they will have 3 cheers for various people, the umpires and their opponents.
And then I believe they head right to the gin mill. Isn't that
And then
correct?
they'll have a post-game feast here at the park.
Wasn't this a fantastic day?
Let's take a survey.
Wasn't this an awesome place to play?
You're listening to Mr. Ernst.
Game God has ever made.
Almost Tourette's-like.
Team 2 wishes to say that town of Branson, the sponsors of this great event, Legacy Days, and as we stand under a beautiful sky with high wispy clouds
Wimpy?
Oh
and
boy.
a sense of spring coming. We appreciate each other, the friendships, and the simple pleasure of playing the game. Thank you to the umpires. Thank you to Go Live Sports. Thank you to Branson. Thank you to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, almost 15 teams represented here. Ladies and gentlemen, can I get you to give 3 hips and a hurrah? Hip, 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 hurrah! Hip, hip, hurrah! Hip, hip, hurrah! And a tiger. Thank you much.
Words fail me.